Why do your most passionate midnight bursts of motivation inevitably turn into agonizing morning regrets just hours after setting them? You buy the expensive planners, set the 5 a.m. alarms, and declare a brand new you to the entire world. But exactly 72 hours later, you crash hard, abandoning every single promise you made while drowning in waves of self-blame. What if I told you your brain isn't lacking discipline, but is actually running a flawless, ancient survival program perfectly? This biological gravity forces you back to your familiar comfort zone because it views any sudden lifestyle shift as life-threatening. We call this relentless biological force the homeostasis loop, and it dictates almost every failed attempt at personal growth today. Think of homeostasis not as some abstract medical concept, but as an incredibly powerful, invisible rubber band wrapped around your waist. When you suddenly decide to work out every single day, you stretch that band further and faster than ever before. Your neurological system registers this rapid deviation from your baseline as an unstable state, immediately triggering emergency internal defense mechanisms. It floods your system with intense mental fatigue, highly convincing excuses, and physical lethargy just to stop your forward momentum. You mistakenly interpret this heavy resistance as your own personal laziness, deeply internalizing the failure as a permanent character flaw. In reality, your evolutionary machinery is simply terrified of the unknown, preferring the safe misery of your deeply ingrained habits. This is why pure willpower is the worst possible tool to rely on when trying to permanently upgrade your daily routine. Willpower is like a fragile, heavily taxed battery that depletes rapidly with every single micro-decision you make throughout your day. By the time you get home from a stressful job, that battery is completely drained, leaving your primitive brain in charge. And that primitive brain will always choose the path of least resistance, aggressively pulling you back to the nearest comfortable couch. We mistakenly believe that adopting a completely new persona overnight will magically erase decades of deeply wired behavioral neural pathways. But identity is not a cheap coat you can easily swap out. It is deeply embedded into your actual nervous system. When you aggressively force a new lifestyle onto an old identity, the resulting friction creates massive psychological distress and burnout. Your subconscious forcefully rejects the sudden graft, violently snapping you back to your original baseline the exact moment your focus wavers. This violent snapback effect perfectly explains why the 72-hour mark is the exact breaking point for almost all sudden extreme resolutions. The harder and faster you try to escape your current reality, the more viciously your biological alarm systems fight right back. If you are tired of blaming yourself for your biology and want to learn how to actively reprogram these hidden loops, then hit that subscribe button right now, because we systematically decode the mechanics of your mind to reclaim your daily life. Let's short-circuit this evolutionary resistance together and finally hack the internal system that has been holding you back for years. Modern commercial industries perfectly understand this hidden biological friction and aggressively exploit it to sell you the exact same resolutions annually. They sell you expensive elite memberships and shiny gear, convincing your conscious mind that a simple financial transaction instantly alters your core identity. But while your highly ambitious prefrontal cortex makes the emotional purchase, your deeply primitive basal ganglia actually controls your automated physical actions. When you try to forcefully wear a brand new persona overnight, You create what neuroscientists call severe internal identity friction. Your nervous system aggressively rejects this sudden behavioral graft, literally viewing the new positive habit as a hostile external infection. The psychological immune system immediately deploys massive waves of procrastination and self-doubt to eradicate the sudden change and protect your baseline. This is the violent snapback effect you experience right around day 3, sending you crashing mercilessly back to square one. You are left swimming in intense guilt, falsely believing you lack the basic moral character required to succeed in life. And exactly 12 months later, you will, predictably, step right back onto the exact same commercial treadmill, changing absolutely nothing. To break this vicious cycle, you must stop treating your habits as a moral failing and start treating them as a biological engineering problem. You need highly practical utility strategies to successfully hack your own survival wiring without triggering the internal evolutionary alarms. Step 1 is identity grafting. You must completely stop wasting your precious frontal lobe energy on brutally forcing your own behavior. Instead, plant highly specific, subtle environmental cues around your living space to passively trick your subconscious mind into accepting the shift. By positioning the tools of your new habit perfectly in your path, your brain slowly absorbs the new identity effortlessly. You bypass the initial friction because the physical environment confirms your new persona before the actual physical action even begins. Step 2 is the ultimate biological hack, the homeostasis bypass protocol, designed to short-circuit the snapback effect permanently. To successfully bypass your brain's evolutionary danger radar, you must implement only a 1% micro-change to your routine every single day. If you want to read more, do not commit to 50 pages. Commit to opening the book and reading exactly one sentence. This impossibly small action is so mathematically insignificant that the internal biological alarm system simply sleeps right through it. By consistently repeating this micro step, you safely establish a brand new neurological baseline, completely under the radar of your defense mechanisms. Once the brain accepts this new normal, the exact same homeostasis gravity that used to hold you back will fiercely protect your habit. You have effectively weaponized your own evolutionary survival mechanics to guarantee your long-term success without fighting yourself. Motivation is a beautiful, fleeting spark, but a scientifically optimized environment is the only truly sustainable fuel for human growth. Stop fighting your biology with pure exhaustion. Start hacking the internal system, plant the right cues, and quietly bypass the alarms. Your brain is an incredibly powerful machine, waiting for the right code. Program it wisely today, and I will see you in the next session.